Hi, everybody. Um, and welcome to the info session. I'm delighted that you're able to join me. And what I'm going to do today is go over the application for the certificate and answer any questions you may have. And then we can also talk about any other questions that you may have about the certificate writ large. So first of all, the most important date for you to remember is February 1st. That is when the applications are due to me. The application has also gone live on our website as of December 1st. So if you have nothing better to do, and I hope you do have better things to do over break, you can already start working on the application. It's got a couple of pieces to it, and I'll explain each of them and also talk to you about how we evaluate the application. First part is just basic bio information. We read through it, it's important. Absolutely, we need it. The two most important parts are listing what courses you've either taken or you propose to take to satisfy the certificate requirements. And then there is also the essay. Now, on the courses, we try to keep up with what are the courses that are made available to you, but I will tell you quite honestly, because of some staffing shortages, we're often a little bit late on those. But you can also look back on previous years and see what courses we listed as foundation courses and what courses we listed as electives. First of all, on the foundation course, as I said, if you look on our website, the recommended foundation courses are there. You can either be finishing a foundation course this semester, or you can be taking a foundation course in the spring. You do not need to have completed the foundation course in order to apply for the certificate. You can be in the process of taking the foundation course in the spring, and that will still count. The only difference is that if you take the foundation course in the spring, which is fine, and your application is otherwise what we're looking for, you will be given a provisional acceptance into the certificate program pending your getting your final grade. But you can pretty much count, as long as you're going to get the grade, on getting into the certificate. The foundation course also, you need to get an A or an A minus. If you're taking the foundation in the spring, all you have to do, but it is your responsibility to do it, is send us an email that you got the A or the A minus. We are not going to ask for your transcripts. We do it on the honor basis. And as far as I know, I don't think anyone's ever lied to me about getting the A or the A minus. So that's the foundation course. If you're taking a course that you think ought to count and it's not on our list, send me an email and explain the course to me, and we can take a look at it. My guess is that in either this current semester or spring semester, you will take as part of your requirements a course that we count as foundation. So that shouldn't be a major issue. On the electives, it is useful, and there are boxes where you can tell us that you've either already taken the course that you've listed, you are currently taking the course that is listed, or you are proposing to take the course in your second year. All three of those count, and we do count courses retroactively. What I am looking for in terms of the electives, let me make the point that the electives that you put down are illustrative, not contractual, because it's impossible to know exactly what's going to be offered next year. And so you may have every intention of taking a course that would fit perfectly for you, and it turns out it's not being offered. So what I'm looking for on the electives is really, what I'm looking for is your thought process. Because as you all know who've listened to me in the orientation programs, the purpose, one of the purposes of the certificate is to help you expand your comfort zone, to expand beyond whatever your concentration is. And that's either a big C concentration formal within your program, or a small C concentration, your own particular interest and area of focus, is to take that and then look for the courses that complement it and expand it, either geographically or functionally. And a couple of examples that I use would be, you're in the Asian Studies program, taking a course on China in Africa or China in Latin America would be a great way of expanding what you would be doing in the Asian Studies program for those degree purposes. But what I would like to see is that you're taking China in Latin America from the Latin American program, not from in the Asian Studies. So it would be China in Latin America as seen from Latin America. Another one that I use all the time, excuse me, my cat, is if you're in global human development, and there are courses on civil military relations, which is terribly useful, but that you try to take it from the security studies program. So it's looking at the edges of the tangents of the adjacents to your area of concentration, and then finding where you can get it from a different perspective. So that's what I'm looking for on the electives. Because of that, every single one of you will have a different academic program. The courses for the certificate are not the same for every certificate candidate, because you're all coming to your academic program and you all have different career aspirations. So I want to see your thought process on the electives you put down. And then, as needed, we will get together on an individual basis and kind of talk through what looked like it made sense, what I wasn't really quite sure about, or it turns out that different courses are available next fall or next spring. So those are the electives. And again, I'm looking at your thought process, not the courses specifically. It's not contractual. And then the final piece, and this is where I really do put a great deal of emphasis, is your statement of interest. How do you see the certificate complementing what you would be studying within your own program? So I want to see your thinking about, how are you trying to expand your comfort zone? How are you trying to balance functional and regional focus and areas of expertise with courses that complement this? And how does it fit into your career aspirations? So I really want to hear from you why you want to do the certificate, why it's of value to you, why it's of interest to you. So please talk to me in your statement of interest. And then, of course, you can't sign up for it yet, but the other requirement for the certificate is the capstone. And the capstones are only given in the spring. And I don't know from year to year what our capstones are going to be. So you don't need to sign up for a capstone in the application. That will come out in sometime next fall when I get to meet my senior fellows and find out what their areas of expertise are, and then have them work with me on what would be the capstones that we would give a year from this spring. So those are the very basics of the application. As I said, excuse me, it's been a long day. The other aspect of it is, again, it's February 1st. You will hear back from me on whether you've been fully accepted because you've already managed to do the foundation, whether you have been provisionally accepted because your application is otherwise good, but you haven't finished the foundation. And in some cases, I may reach out to you to talk to you more about the electives and why you put down the illustrative ones you did. And then in some cases, unfortunately, it will be that we weren't able to accept your application. But you will know whether you are in the program or not by the time you have to register for your fall classes. So you'll have that information pretty quickly. I try to turn the applications around just as fast as I possibly can. So those are the basics. And what I would like to do is open it up to questions from you that you may have about the certificate in general or the application itself. So I'm opening the floor to you, and put up one of those little hands or come on your screen so that I can see you. So any questions at this point? Frank?
Yes, ma'am. I had a quick question regarding the eligibility requirement to participate in the certificate. I'm currently in the School of Continuing Studies Applied Intelligence program. However, I do have a previous master's in international affairs and military politics and international affairs from the Citadel Military College. I also speak fluent Mandarin, and I'm curious as to whether or not if I can make I know this would probably be a more appropriate for individualized discussion, but I'm just trying to see if it's possible for me to apply. I'm wondering if I can make a sound enough argument regarding the course offerings at my program if I would be eligible for consideration for this.
Yeah, we haven't had, I mean, in theory, yes, because anyone who's in a graduate program, a Georgetown graduate program is eligible. I think there are some rather unique elements of somebody from the School of Continuing Studies. And so, Frank, what I would suggest is at some point you send me an email and we have a one-on-one conversation to see. As I said, in theory, yes, we need to talk about if it works in practice. So I'm open to that conversation.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Sarah. Is it possible to complete your foundational course? I can't, I need to call up your question. Is it possible to complete your foundation course and the capstone concurrently? The 4 electives have already been completed. Sarah, in it would be for some students who are on programs that have December graduations. You obviously can't take the capstone next summer, next spring, because you simply won't be here. And so in that case, yes, you could, in theory, take the foundation and the capstone at the same time because it's the only way you could satisfy both. Unfortunately, I need to make that more clear in the orientation program. We need to know about that in the fall because right now, all of our capstones are full. So in theory, yes. In fact, no. Sarah, are you in one of these accelerated programs, or have you just not taken the foundation course and you want to take it next year? And if you can speak, that would be fine. You don't have to answer in the chat. I am in an accelerated program. So you're going to be graduating next December? I'm actually in a quiet room. Okay, so I can't speak. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Unfortunately, yes, as I said, in theory, if we had known I'm graduating in May 24. Oh, with us. Oh, you're graduating May 2025. Yes, yes, I understand that. Send me an email and let's talk. Let's see if there's anything that we can do. Because I don't know because my capstones are full. So send me an email. Any other questions or comments? Ksenia?
Yes,
Kasia?
Ksenia.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I sent you an email before. So I'm the first year of a graduate program in global human development, and we will have a capstone in the last semester, so spring next year.
Mhm.
And so my question is, how do you think can this capstone count towards this certificate? And if I have to do 2 capstones, is it better to do them? Yeah, I mean, I don't have any other way now, but is it possible to do them 2 at the same time?
Yes, it is possible to do the two. In fact, we've had a number of GHDP students in our certificate program and have done both. And that brings up a point that I did want to make because I know that you have a capstone in your spring and some of the other programs have theses or other major projects in the spring. We have worked with the directors of each of the programs on how to blend or complement what you would be doing in your capstone in GHDP or the thesis that you have to write in MAGIS or some of the other programs so that we can't quite double count the same project. University doesn't let us do that for 2 capstones, but there are ways of blending them so that what you're doing in one complements and informs the other, but isn't exactly the same project. We have absolutely no desire to kill you with too much work your last semester. That's not our goal. So we do have ways of workarounds for GHDP, for MAGIS. I think it's Arab Studies also has a thesis and a few others. So we are trying to take care of that. So in theory, it is possible. In practice, it is possible. We have had several GHDP certificate candidates.
Thank you. And one more question about the capstone. Would it be more like practically oriented or more research based?
Okay, let me explain a little bit what the capstone structure is so you understand that better. What we do is we identify 3 different intractable diplomatic issues, of which unfortunately there's more than 3 intractable diplomatic issues out there to work on. And each student, and the capstones are, the certificate students have priority in registering for the capstone of their choice of the 3 different topics. And there's a limit of 10 students in each capstone. So they're kept very small. And each student is required to do a policy-oriented research paper on an element of that overarching issue. And then, so there's a research element to it, but it's got a policy goal on it. So it's not pure research, but this is the problem, this is why it's important, this is what needs to be done about it. Then the 10 students all work together to come up with one joint paper. Now, for example, somebody from GHDP, last spring I did a capstone on reframing the US approach to the Persian Gulf states. There's a lot to do there. One of the students did a paper on how can the US better coordinate its humanitarian and development assistance with the major Gulf donors. That absolutely fits exactly into GHDP. You know, how do we work with other partners on these kinds of issues? So you would be working on an issue that is directly relevant to your background in GHDP. You would just be doing it in an area that you may not be familiar with. So we will find ways working with each student, and we work really, really hard to make these programs and these classes as tailored to you as we can, so that you're working on something in the capstone that relates to your work as GHDP and what you intend to do as a professional.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? Charlotte.
Yes, hello. My name's Charlotte Davis and I'm in Mages. And I
Okay.
just have a quick question about the foundational course. Is that okay if it's in our degree concentration? Or
Yes.
okay, great. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Most of them, they're all in degree concentrations. And so, you know, since we have 4 electives and a capstone in ours, we do count foundation courses in your program. Okay,
Thank you so
good.
much.
Thank you. Other questions? I would like to think that this is a sign that I managed to answer every question already. But I do want to give people time to think through a question that is sitting there that you can put it in the chat if you don't want to speak it. I don't see a name, I see a phone number. 1440-363. Hi.
Hi, sorry, my laptop was bugging out, so I had to call into my phone.
It's okay.
I was hoping if you could talk a little bit more about the internship requirement. Who have people worked with in the past? Is that usually a summer placement? Do they do it concurrently academically? Just sort of, if you could just talk a little bit more about that.
Of course. The internship requirement can be satisfied any number of ways. Obviously, there is the summer internship. I know a lot of students, many students here at Georgetown are doing internships during the academic year. And all I am looking for, or what I am looking for, is that it is in a diplomacy related field. So it doesn't have to be an internship at the Department of State. It doesn't even have to be an internship in the US government. It could be to kind of take the concentric circles and work them outward. It could be working with a different government. It could be in an entity that either seeks to influence and shape diplomacy, and that would include all of your think tanks. It could include an NGO that is in the diplomacy advocacy field. And for this, I'm thinking of something like the National Democratic Institute or the International Republican Institute, but not quite a think tank, but more of an advocacy group on an element of diplomatic policy, or on a service humanitarian development. So when you kind of define the internship for anything that either seeks to influence or is affected by diplomacy, you have a pretty wide range of internships to draw from. It can also include work you did in any of those kinds of organizations prior to coming to Georgetown. So what would you be thinking of specifically? What is your specific question? What did you do in the past that you're asking about?
Nothing in the past. I was just curious for more,
Oh.
like if it was something we needed to really jump on, get in touch with people at State Department. So I was just curious to learn more.
You know, it's the State Department obviously is fine, but something like Mercy Corps, something like NDI, working at the Ethiopian embassy, yeah, kind of, with all due respect to many of our colleagues, sort of anything but Goldman Sachs or a hedge fund would probably qualify.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Leaving the space open for the next one. Let me just mention also the language requirement, because that does come up in a couple of cases. First of all, if you are an international student and English is not your first language, then you have already satisfied the language requirement. You have competency in 2 languages, your own and English. If you are an English native speaker, you do need to get a second language. There's a language requirement in all of the programs except for SSP. And so when you satisfy the language requirement, and to go back to the question from the gentleman on the phone, the intern requirement for your degree, that satisfies it for me as well. That I do double count. If you're in SSP and there is not a formal language competency, we will work with you to get you tested on a language competency in whatever language it is that you have. So, and this would probably apply to the gentleman from the School of Continuing Studies, because I don't think they have language requirements there. We would work with you on how you satisfy that. And we have been very successful in reaching out to, you know, the French department here, or the Spanish department here, or the Farsi department here, and getting students tested on competency. So we will work with you to make that happen. And certainly if you're a level, if the HSK is the same thing as the FS, is the Foreign Service Language Level 3 in Mandarin, then you're fine. But yeah, And again, I think I've tried to make it pretty clear already. I will work with each of you individually on any specific issues that you have on language, on internships, on programs, on classes. Okay, thank you. Okay, I don't seem to be getting any more questions, and we have gone through half an hour. This will be posted online for you can either to take a look at it, or if you have friends and colleagues who are interested in the certificate, please let them know that this will be on our website. And I am available to anyone anytime. Send me an email. I, as a practice, answer emails within 24 hours. If I don't answer you within 24 hours, please send it to me again. It means that something happened and it got buried. And Chris actually has a question. Yes, Chris.
So you said that the application is already open right now. Where
Yes.
could we find that on the Georgetown website? I was just trying to navigate and browse around on the
Okay.
ISD website right now.
Okay. You go to the Georgetown.edu. Okay, ISD Georgetown.edu, and then you go to certificates, and then there should be the application. So it should be there. If it's not, please let me know, because it was supposed to go live on December 1st. So if you could reality check me, and one of my staff, Kate, is on this. And can double check it too. Are you
Yeah,
finding it, Chris?
Yeah, I'm here on the website, and I see it says the next application cycle for grad certificate opens mid-December. Submissions will be due by February 1st, 2024. Is there supposed to be like a drop-in link or something like that
There
here?
is supposed to be, and it was supposed to go live December 1st. And this afternoon, we will get that fixed.
Okay, sure, sounds good.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you
thank you.
thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, we'll double check that.
Okay,
That would have
thank
been,
you.
that was awkward.
No,
Nothing
that's
like
okay. Yeah.
nothing like sending you to a live site that isn't live.
Yeah, that's okay.
No, that's all right. Don't worry. This is Georgetown. We are Georgetown. Anything else? Or otherwise, I will turn it over to you reaching out to me as needed. And we will get that link up and running this afternoon. Okay. Well, otherwise, thank you all. I really do hope to see your applications. I look forward to hearing from you if you have individual questions or concerns. And hope to have you as certificate candidates sometime by the middle of February. Thank you all. Okay, bye-bye. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.